Hello, Ari.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. I just have to document this. My hair has flipped out on both sides perfectly.
Yes.
For the first time and the last time.
The only time.
It will never happen this way again.
It's so 70s. It's so good.
I know. It is very 70s. Typically, this side flips out and this side does not. So this side is behaving today for whatever reason.
Do you roll brush while you hair dry?
I have a round
What's the
brush.
math?
I have a round brush blow dryer. But the only thing now that I have the bangs or the fringe, I have to do that with a different brush that's smaller.
Right.
And then I have to go out for these big babies. So,
the commitment to beauty stuff.
Again, it will never look like this again, I'm sure. This is the only time it's going to behave.
It looks great. It looks so good.
Thank you.
I'm wearing a Grover. I just want to point out.
Yeah. Everyone look at Adam's sweatshirt.
My little Grover sweatshirt on that I got in Korea. I knew I'd say
back. Not for long.
You never know. You never know.
You never know what the future holds.
Some of us moved to London. Some of us may move to Seoul. You never know.
Could you imagine, though, if that was real? Could you imagine, Ari, at the end of this, I'm living in London, you're living in Seoul. Would you move to Seoul? Is that where you'd move?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, it's already hard enough to schedule these because of the time difference like that.
Yeah, you guys have to wait. You have to wait to move until we've finished book 7.
Until book 7 is done.
Yeah.
I have you know how I make all the chapter.
Oh, yeah. Do you know when we would
I have all the thumbnails done on Canva for both books. It's already done. And I even have.
You have to commit.
When we have to stop halfway through book 7 in order to watch the first movie.
Yes! Oh my God, yes!
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be great,
look up which chapter it was when spoiler alert, Dobby dies. Because then I was because that's when the first movie is.
The halfway point. Adam.
Oh, I meant to tell you. I have people on. Was it on Discord? Was it on the comments? I don't remember. But we made a joke about being we should read fanfic after we finished the series. And people were like, we'd love to hear it. We'd love to listen to it. So there's an opening there.
I have a list saved already.
Oh, honey, you best believe there are bookmarks, honey.
I have plenty lists of Junghan and S-Coops is my personal fave, being a couple.
Yeah.
There's one of
right?
where it's your point of view, you're in a throuple with S-Coops and Junghan.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. That's one
as
of my
a female
faves.
character or do they not specify?
What do you mean? Oh, no, I think the one I read it's clear the character's a woman, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But there's so many. I mean, yeah, the bookmarks, we could continue bookmarking.
Sure.
We would never run out of content.
No.
Oh my gosh.
And that's the beauty of AO3, Archive of Our Own.
Yes, that's exactly where I have found what I have found on as well.
Ari.
Yeah, here we are.
This week.
Yes.
We read chapter 4 called Horace Slughorn.
Mm-hmm.
Please, as I did not ask you in chapter 2, Ari, what happens in chapter 4?
So Harry is introduced to the one and only Horace Slughorn. And then Horace gives his answer before Harry and Dumbledore take their leave. And Harry ends up in one of our favorite other wizarding locations by the end of this chapter.
Gives his answer to what, Ari?
That's what I don't want to spoil it. He gives us his answer on.
He gives us the answer.
The question Dumbledore has for him.
The offer presented.
If he'll return to Hogwarts.
Yeah.
He tells
Dumbledore. We don't know his what. That's very important.
No, just assume. He will be coming to Hogwarts to fill a vacant position.
I think it's very shady that Albus fully ignores when Harry's like, "Oh, I'm not. He's gonna." Whatever, we'll talk about it.
He didn't fully ignore it though. He was like, "Well, don't count those chickens before they've hatched."
Before they hatched, honey.
He was like, "Well, hold on now."
But also could have just been like, "Oh no, Snape." Okay, it doesn't matter.
No, that's
Ari.
not his way.
No, it's not. Organic learning.
Yeah, not his way. But yeah, so the chapter opens with Harry being like, oh my gosh, I've looked forward to this for so long and now I'm so awkward. He's just like,
Yeah.
what do we talk about? How do I stand? Like, what do we do? So I love though that it mentions like while Harry is just like very uncomfortable, Dumbledore is like perfectly at ease. And I was like, well, yeah, girl.
Mhm.
Do you think he would be like nervous
Oh my
around?
God, I'm so nervous around Harry. The chosen one.
I was like, why would Harry? I think you're accidentally revealing a little too much about yourself here. I was like, of course he's like comfortable. He's Dumbledore. I don't really know anyone Dumbledore would like be uncomfortable around.
I also just feel like there is a true age. Once you pass a certain age, you're just like, I'm done being uncomfortable around
Especially
people.
with like a teenager. Like I would just
Hello?
be like, okay, you're going to be awkward on your own, so I don't have to help you with that.
I mean,
Anyways.
I feel uncomfortable around teenagers because I think they judge me. But I know at some point I will get past that.
I'm always like,
future.
teens. I just always think like, no matter what I say, you're not going to think I'm cool or whatever.
Can I tell you, this is about
know.
Korea, but can I tell you, we went to an amusement park and let me tell you one thing. One thing.
Get that pointer out.
The concept of teens being all over each other in a queue for a roller coaster is universal. It is every country. It is everywhere. They do it.
The same thing over there.
All over the globe it happens.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my God. I was like, well, it's nice that some things don't change. Isn't it?
Teenagers never keeping their hands to themselves.
No. Even in cultures where you would think they're very cautious about PDA.
I know, that's why I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I guess if you're
But it's weird there because
maybe it's different generationally, though.
There's like good PDA that you do in Korea where it's like hand holding, grabbing onto each other is like very like that's very common. You see that just walking down the street.
Kissing.
But like kissing, making out. I did walk by one couple that was like fully making out on the street, and I was like,
you were surprised. Yeah. You were like,
oh my God. Scandalized.
Wow.
But they were older. They were like in their 60s. And I think it was like a white guy. And I was like,
oh, well,
I don't know what's going on here.
I don't know what's going on here. We didn't need that.
Mm-mm. You know who's not making out? Dumbledore and Harry.
Oh God, let's hope not. There's a fanfic with that somewhere.
I'm trying to bring it back.
There's a fanfic somewhere.
I have a joke I could make, but I want to save it because I have a theory about Horace Slughorn, and we'll talk about it in just a moment.
Okay. So yeah, Harry's like, oh, I'm feeling kind of awkward. Also, I'm embarrassed about how I acted the last time I was with Dumbledore because I was like throwing all his shit around in his office. So once again, Harry, like a reason why Dumbledore is perfectly at ease and you are uncomfortable because you were the one that acted a fool, not him. So he's like, right. I have nothing to be embarrassed about when I'm here. So then Dumbledore's like, oh, get your wand out. You know, I don't think you'll need to use it, but it'd just be good to have it out. And Harry's like, but I can't use magic, you know, the whole like underage sorcery thing, can't do it. And Dumbledore's like, no, I give you permission. And I just want to say, I love that Dumbledore is just like, no, I give it the okay, so it's cool. Like Harry could still get a letter, technically, even though Dumbledore, like,
we don't know any. None of the rules matter. None of the rules. There are no rules anymore because, as we just know, Dumbledore just did magic at Harry's house, and there was no letter.
Oh, that's true.
But when Dobby did magic, there was a letter. So who?
Because I find it unlikely that he was like, "Oh, I'm going to go see Harry tonight." Like, I doubt he told the minister.
He's not telling. No.
So maybe that has just been waived or lifted. That they're like, "Oh yeah, it's fine. Just let kids do magic."
Maybe there's been layoffs at the ministry, and so the underage magic department.
Oh yeah, it's just like
they're
Mafalda.
running bare bones. Yeah,
Mafalda
Kirk.
She's overworked
and underpaid.
Yeah,
and I bet she's underpaid because also she's a woman.
Yeah, so then he's like, I give you permission to protect yourself if you need to. And he's like, but I don't think you will need to in the end. And Harry's like, oh, why not? And then Dumbledore, absolute slay of a response, is like, because you're with me.
Yeah.
I was like, I live for this. I just love that he like unabashedly is like, because you're with me, girl.
Yeah. Why would the protection's here, honey?
You can't stun the doll. Are you watching? Have you been watching All Stars?
No, because it started while we were in Korea, so I haven't caught up yet.
Oh, okay.
But I've seen. I saw the Nina lip sync.
Why? Yeah. So they apparate to a war memorial. Let me tell you, Adam. I know exactly where they apparated to, because every one of the little English towns here has got these war memorials in the town square, where they've got like, it's like a black cutout of like a shadow of a veteran, basically, from the war. Which
war? The Great War?
The Great War. No. World War II. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that called the Great War?
Mm-hmm.
Never knew. Yes, World War II. Because obviously the UK was very affected by it. So like, to be fair, valid. But yeah, like every town center has a little like war, or like city town has a little war memorial somewhere. If it was, unless it's like a very new town. So yeah, when that happened, I was like, I never clocked this. And I know exactly what this looks like where they showed up. There's like wreaths strewn about, little red wreaths and stuff. So
and they're in a town called, what is the town called? Did you write it down? Like Bumbleberg or something like that?
No, wait, do you have your book?
Brownberry Bramble. Wait, I have it right here. Hold on.
I was like, I can look up if it's a real place.
Horace. I don't think it is. It's a very it is a very Joe Rowling name. Budleigh Babberton. And I was like, well, she came up with that for sure. Budleigh Babberton. Oh,
yeah. It just says Harry Potter wiki. So it doesn't look like. There is a Budleigh Slatterton, though.
Where's that at?
Budleigh Slatterton. Inspiration for Harry Potter. Budleigh Babberton. Inspiration from Budleigh Slatterton, a village 15 miles southeast of Exeter.
Oh, Exeter is a place?
Yeah. So it's like on the coast. South. Coastal. Yeah, very, very south. So Dumbledore asks if Harry's scar has been hurting, to which Harry's like, no, it hasn't actually. And I thought my scar would be burning up all the time. Now that Voldemort's back and everything. And he looks at Dumbledore, and Dumbledore is not surprised in the least. And he's like, oh, no. I think that he's very aware that he needs to start using occlumency against you now. To make sure that you're not like, getting little peeks into his head that he doesn't want you to have. Also, I love it. They're like walking together, and then Harry's like, Dumbledore? And Dumbledore's like, he says, sir, I think. He's like, sir, or professor. And like, Dumbledore's like, Harry? And I just want to say, I love when someone asks a question, and then like the way you respond to said person asking a question is to say their name as a question back to them.
Yeah.
Like if I was like, Adam?
Ari?
Yeah, it's just like, I just think that is so charming.
I have a question about, occlumency.
Yeah.
Which Harry tried to learn and was not actually taught how to do last year, as we famously know.
Failed.
It seemed to involve a lot of effort, a lot of like clearing of the mind. I'm curious how both Voldemort is able to do this. Do we think he has to do it all the time? Do you think it's like when he's like mad, he's also like, but I have to occlumens now?
That's
or
a
do
good
we
question.
think like, because also in the previous chapter last week, 2 weeks ago. Who knows? Snape said like he's also been using legilimens to like figure out if people are like actually like saying the truth when they like talk to him or whatever. He's like going into their mind, blah, blah, blah. Are you able to occlumens and legilimens at the same time? Are we like, it seems to be working on two different, that's left and right brained at the same time, it feels like.
Is it like a mindful meditation? Like, I don't understand.
Then my question is like, how do you practice mindful meditation, but you also are committing genocide? That's a question we could ask a lot of people.
That's a great question for a lot of people in the world right now.
Of people.
Yeah. Someone answer us. Yeah, I don't know. I find the whole, he must be instilling occlumency from miles and miles away every second of every day. Or yeah, like you said, like when he's having special meetings, he has to basically be like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I think whatever you did, I think that's right.
I don't know. Like, because I just don't understand. To your point, if you're doing one, there's no way you could be doing the other in the same breath, which we find out later at like the end of this book when he goes into Voldemort's mind when he's with Snape towards the end of the book.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Okay, never mind.
I do not remember.
Never mind. Surprise for Adam later.
I had my noise cancellation on and I did not hear RJ come in, but that scared the shit.
Oh my God. Was he just like right next to you or something?
No, he was like in the kitchen. He stepped out and because I had like heard like something fell. And so I looked over and then he like popped out. I was like,
I saw you look and I was like, did he just get back? So Harry's like, where are we going? And he's like, Dumbledore says, we're going to see one of my old colleagues. There's an empty position at Hogwarts once again that I need to fill. And as Adam said earlier, vague. He's being very vague. So they discuss Scrimgeour replacing Fudge. And they also talk about how they're, very saddened by Madame Bones' murder.
Yeah.
But
Dumbledore seems very upset about Mrs. Bones.
Yeah.
He seems to not give a flying fuck about Scrimgeour, to be honest.
No, I mean, I think that the way that he purposefully said like, he's abled. I was like, what a read.
Yeah. He's capable.
I was like another perfect example of Dumbledore being a gay man.
Can we go back one quick? I didn't know if you were going to touch on it, so I didn't want to interrupt you. But there's one thing that really bothers me. Okay, I'm going to read you this. It's right before this. Harry asks, why can't they just apparate into someone's home? Which is like the dumbest question he's probably ever asked in this book series. Professor, why couldn't we just apparate directly into your old colleague's house? Because it would be quite as rude as kicking down the front door, said Dumbledore. Courtesy dictates that we offer fellow wizards the opportunity of denying us entry. In any case, most wizard dwellings are magically protected from unwanted apparators. At Hogwarts, for instance, you can't apparate anywhere inside the buildings or grounds, said Harry quickly. Hermione Granger told me. Why did you call her Hermione Granger?
Hermione Granger. Hermione Jean Granger.
A soon-to-be sixth-year student at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry told me this information.
In Gryffindor House.
That she learned from reading Hogwarts, a History. I was so annoyed. I was like, why did you call her by her full name? I get that like there's like a bit of a difference in the way like names are used in the UK. Like a lot of people do, like if you're chums with someone, you'll still call them by their last name. Like I get that that's like a concept, whatever. I still feel like it would be weird to be like, Hermione Granger told me that. You at this point, Harry, have had multiple conversations with Dumbledore. You're not friends, obviously, but you're not like, it's not like the first time you've ever talked. Like, it's not like he doesn't know who Hermione is. It's not like you're not going into your 6th year at this school. It's so weird. Hermione is not a common enough name to be like, I should clarify which Hermione Granger at Hogwarts. I was so annoyed. I was like, I don't know why it bothered me so much, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, but it really did bug me. I was like,
I don't know about
Why
it.
would
Well,
you-
because it is weird. Like, it's weird for me to be like, oh yeah, Adam Noacker told me that.
Also, do you think that is the one fact that has been brought up in every book, even past Harry's unkempt hair?
Yeah, it would
at
have
this point.
Yeah, it would have to be. Yeah, because it's still like, even though
no one
she's
can
done
operate
with
in or out of Hogwarts.
even though she's done with a scrawny boy with very messy hair, like
Yeah.
stopped that, but we're still doing the bit with Hogwarts
Apparition.
Yeah.
Goofy.
Yeah. So they're heading to well, we don't know it's Slughorn's yet. We're heading to his colleague's house. He like indicates where they're going with his hand and then is like, ouch, like from pointing. Yeah, I know, like the spirit of Christmas yet to come or whatever.
Yes.
And then Harry's like, what happened to your
He does it like
hand?"
this, actually.
Just like that.
So stupid.
So he points with the injured hand. Harry tries to ask what's happened, but Dumbledore's like, I'm so sorry. I don't have time to tell you. But he like says it in a way where Harry's like, oh, okay, I'm not being like reprimanded. He just like can't tell me about that, but I can keep asking questions. And I was like, I don't know if that's what he meant. I don't know if he meant just keep asking questions. So then he brings up the ministry leaflet that was sent out to like protect yourself against Death Eaters. And Dumbledore and him both kind of agree, like they don't think it's very useful. And then Dumbledore's like, yeah, you didn't ask me like the special security questions. To which Harry's like, oh, and Dumbledore's like,
ask
but
me
if
what my favorite kind of jam is.
Yeah, which it's raspberry, if anyone was
It's
wondering.
raspberry, now we know. What would you would you say you have a favorite jam, Ari?
I'm not really a jam person.
Are you a jelly?
No, I'm not a jelly or a jam. I would always have just peanut butter. But I think I would like jam if I tried it now as an adult. Probably a jam over jelly gal. I should try, because jam is very popular over here, so I should get some little raspberry
she's
jam.
very big. She's very big over there. I think you'd like a lemon curd.
Oh, I do love lemon curd. Little, what are they called?
Like the
little pies.
Yes,
Tarts.
The little like
lemon curd
tarts.
Yeah,
those are great. I love like a peach preserve. Ooh,
a peach. Great. Do you like a peach? Just a peach by itself? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not a peach.
And I love one of my favorite things about peaches is that they're only in season for like a split second in time. So when it's like peach season, it's like, yes, it's so good.
She makes you work for it. She's like, I'm only ripe for this long.
I'm a stone fruit.
Are plums like that then too?
Oh, is this a peach?
Oh, that's a peach? That looks like an apple.
This looks like an apricot.
Oh, that looks like an apple to me.
Peach.
Ooh, ASMR.
It's crunchy. Can I have a little plate or something?
It is a peach? It looks so much like an apple on screen.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know if it's just from the lighting.
I think it's an apricot. Thank you.
So then they both kind of agree it's not very useful. Then they end up talking about the Inferi again. So we get another little another little info bite about the Inferi.
Inferio bite, yeah.
Inferio bite. Yeah, so they're basically like corpses that end up being reanimated to like do someone's bidding.
Necromancy. Let's just call it what it is.
Let's just call it what it is here. So then they finally arrive at the house that they're trying to get to, and there appears to have been a break-in. So Dumbledore and Harry are going through. Everything is just like completely trashed. And then it's at one point, Dumbledore's like, oh no, I think he's still here. I think he's somewhere amongst the carnage.
Can we just say this is like the site of a horror show. This is like you are walking through a Halloween Horror Nights house is how this is explained.
Yeah.
There is like everything is destroyed basically. And there's blood splattered all over the walls. Like the site of a grisly attack.
Yeah. Casual.
And Harry says like he's looking around like he's expecting to see a dead body around every corner. Like he's like
speaking of In Fury.
This is so insane.
In
Fury, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
It's so insane for that to be how this is set up. And then Dumbledore, it's the way this is all just brushed off very, very normally and nonchalantly in like 3 seconds is crazy. But it is, I did not remember that there was, because I do think this is, I know that it's like the house is in disarray in the movie, but there is not blood on the walls in the movie. I can tell you that right now. There is not blood on the, there is?
There is, but it's too dark. So you can't really see, because that's how, in the movie, that's how Dumbledore knows it's fake, because he's like, it's dragon blood.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
It's still gross.
I know, yeah. It's yucky. So yeah, Dumbledore's like, oh yeah, I think he's still here somewhere. And then he literally like takes his wand and just like stabs it into an armchair.
Yeah.
Or was it a sofa?
It's an armchair.
An armchair.
An overstuffed armchair.
An overstuffed armchair. Right, correct.
For Americans, that would be like a lazy boy 1.5. Yeah.
A snuggle sofa.
Yeah.
He's like, and then I love that he like fully stabs him in the gut with his wand. And then he's like, good evening, Horace. Like, can you imagine, Adam, if I just like stabbed you in your stomach and was like, hey, girl?
The whole thing is weird because as soon as they were in, why wouldn't Horace be like, oh, it's just Dumbledore? And just be like, oh,
I know, that's why.
The whole thing is weird to me.
You're kind of hiding from him too, I think. I think he's just hiding.
Yeah, I think he's hiding from everybody.
So, sorry, I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable. Of course, she has to immediately describe him as fat, bald old man. So she's like, Horace was a fat, old, bald man.
Horace was a fat little fuck, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's like literally, that's how I was like, oh, wow, all right. I was like, we're just like getting right into it. So
it is funny how short he is, though.
Yeah, he's very small. He's like my height. Like
he barely comes up to
Dumbledore.
I think she said Dumbledore's beard, and famously Dumbledore has a long beard.
Oh, maybe he's like Leslie. Is it Leslie?
Nope.
No, Leslie Jordan.
Oh. Well, okay. So this is okay. You have to keep talking because I have a theory.
Okay. So, Horace asks what gave it away, and Dumbledore's like, well, there would have been a dark mark. Obviously. Well, first right. Horace says there was no need to poke me that hard.
Right.
And then when he kind of like comes to, yeah. Agreed, Horace. You're right. Dumbledore says what gave it away was the dark mark. While they're putting the room back together again, Horace reveals it was dragon blood on the walls when Dumbledore inquires. Yes. Excuse me. So
which is apparently very expensive nowadays.
Yeah,
inflation
and now
has even gotten to dragon blood.
Yeah, he won't be able to reuse it again, most likely. It's a bummer. So then after all of this, Horace finally takes notice of the one and only Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. And Horace is like, oh, I know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I got you, girl. And then Horace is like, when they're talking, chatting, catching up, Dumbledore's like, well, anyway, I don't know what you're talking about. I just came to see you, see how you're doing. And then Horace is like, I've gone all wheezy. I have rheumatism now. I'm not doing well at all. I'm really going through a hard time right now. And Dumbledore's like, oh, but you really like kept it moving, getting all this thrown together when I was walking up. So you must be able to like get it moving sometimes.
Right.
So he's basically going on and on about how he's not doing well. He's earned these like, well-deserved comforts. He like wants to stay retired. And then at one point, Horace sees Dumbledore's blackened hand. And then Harry notices that Dumbledore has a big ring on the other hand.
Uh-huh.
And there's a note that Horace looks at the ring, like kind of like frowns at the ring. And I was wondering, is this because he like recognizes?
That's what I wondered too.
I was like, is that what's happening here? Because I was like, when I think Tom Riddle does wear the ring at some point while he's at Hogwarts.
I couldn't remember when he gets the ring, because I know there are things that he gets later after his conversation about Horcruxes with Slughorn.
Yeah.
I need to talk about my theory.
Yeah, what's your theory?
I have to do this. Here's my theory. It is discussed in this chapter that once the room is put back together, it is filled with so much stuff. And it is like Harry said it would be like walking into a rich old lady's house.
Yeah.
Now then we learn that Horace he's basically breaking into Muggles' homes while they're on holiday and using their house. So he keeps like moving from place to place.
Right. He's not staying in one place for too long.
Correct. He's on the run. He's on the lam.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, it's just this is
Muggle's house.
Muggle's house. But then he makes a note of being like, so I have to make sure that no one sees me when I'm bringing the piano in. So then I was like, oh, so this is all of his furniture that he likes. So now I'm thinking, is Horace Slughorn coded as gay? Is he like an old gay guy?
I think he could be. And I also was wondering if he has like multiple properties.
The way, okay, if we're really going in on this whole Joe knew that Dumbledore was gay the whole time, whatever. If that's true, the way this conversation between the two of them reads to me does read like how two gay men talk to each other.
Do
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, a gay guy's the villain. Or has villainish.
Yeah.
He's not the villain of this book, obviously. But he's not the most up and up character.
No.
Series, let's say that.
Yeah. Very kind of cowardly character.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dumbledore's like, I'm curious if all of this is for me or if this is for the Death Eaters. And at first Horace is like, why would they want me? Like he's literally says like broken down old duffer.
Yeah.
Is how he describes himself.
He's also, he's got a flair for the dramatic too.
Yes. Yeah. Have you seen Murders in the Building?
Yeah. Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah. I feel like he could be, Martin Short's character.
Martin Short's character.
Yeah. Like that, but like just more of a belly. But yeah, how he kind of is when he's going about things. But then his character isn't gay. He's just flamboyant. So you never know.
He's a poof.
He's a poof. Yeah. But yeah. So, however, even though he does say the bit about like, what would they want with me? He does confirm that he has been in hiding. So he's not like staying anywhere too long. But I don't know if he meant, going back to what your like theory, Adam, I don't know if I think maybe it could be that Muggle's house and he just moves like, I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't focus on this because it doesn't matter. But like, it
doesn't matter. But the only thing that makes me, the thing that really cements it, even past the like, he does say he moves the piano in, but it could just be he likes that piano. But the only thing to me is like, if he's a man who's like, I need my creature comforts, that's a person who's going to keep their stuff with them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, oh, it's definitely his stuff then.
Yeah.
But then if he's like a doddery old, yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. No, I agree. I think he's taken his like favorite things with him.
Yeah.
So once again, Slughorn's like, looks at Harry and is like, I know what you're doing. And he keeps doing this thing where he like looks at Harry and then like looks away.
Yeah.
Which is so funny to imagine because Harry doesn't know what's going on. So like, which I think is great that Dumbledore like, I mean like ethically maybe Dumbledore should have told him, but for the scene, it's great that he like just didn't fill him in on what was going on until after the fact because Harry genuinely is like innocent in this situation.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have a dog in the fight at this point. So he's like, I know why you brought him. I know why he's brought you. When Dumbledore goes to the bathroom, because Dumbledore conveniently is like, oh, I need to use the loo while we're here, actually. So then he goes off to use the loo, and then Harry and Slughorn are left alone, to which is when he starts talking to him about his mother, Lily, who at Hogwarts was Lily Evans.
Yep.
And how she was one of his all-time favorites. And then he starts, and then we did do the bit of, you look just like your father,
like your dad,
but you have your mother's
you
eyes.
have your mother's eyes.
Yes, we did do that bit.
I think there's a line about being like, Harry's like, he's so over it. And I'm like,
so are we.
Yeah, it's the apparating into Hogwarts and Harry looking like his father with his mother's eyes. Those are the two pieces of information that are in every single book.
Every single book. So then he's like kind of sick of hearing it, blah, blah, blah. And then he starts talking about how Lily kind of gave him, like he said Lily should have been in his house, but then she gave him grief for it and had some really like, I don't know, burns of response. Really, she had some responses that were quite some burns for him. I don't know how to say. What did he say? Like zingers?
Very cheeky answers I used to get back to.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Which I was like, I love Lily. Give me a book about Lily. That's what I want. Joe doesn't have to write it, to be clear.
I mean, I do think it's interesting that there is like a weird kind of the way he talks about Lily and being like, it's so surprising. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I also, I'll let you say it and then I'll say my thing.
No, it's okay. You can say what you were going to say.
Well, I just think like, he believes that Lily should have been in his house. So he doesn't prescribe to like the pure-bloodedness idea of like Slytherins should be purebloods.
Yeah.
So he doesn't care about it in that respect, but he still thinks it's like
conditional.
Yes.
It's like on the condition.
His whole thing is like, are you remarkable in some way? That's what's like interesting about people. Yeah.
But also I think for him, it's like, because he literally says like, oh, she was a muggle born. I thought for sure she would have been a pureblood. And he's like, funny how that happens. Like just this idea of like, oh, wow, you're really beating the odds just because you're not like in our context, like a white person.
I mean, it is fully like like one of the most clear examples of like an actual microaggression where it's like, there's nothing he says that you can like get upset about, but it is like, but why would you say it?
Yeah, because then he goes on. It's literally the whole like someone says something that is a microaggression and then immediately goes, I'm not racist or anything. And you're like, but all right. Like that's literally what's happening here. He's like, oh yeah, wow, it's funny how that happens.
But you still have like subliminal like racial belief, like
racial bias,
superiority beliefs, obviously.
Yes, yeah.
It's interesting.
Inherent racial bias, basically.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh no, you mustn't think I'm prejudiced. AKA, no, I'm not racist.
Right.
I just said she was one of my favorites. So it's like, okay, so then you're like tokenizing all. Then he starts like listing off all his collection, all the students in his collection that were Muggle-borns, basically. And then that just goes on to like all these connections that he has. And he's kind of, I don't know if it's fully like a little trip down memory lane, but just when he was like more tapped in to all of these celebrities and, staying in touch with them and was able to like be in consistent communication with them and how he enjoyed that. So he starts kind of talking about it.
Yeah.
And he kind of is like, because Harry's like, oh, how could he be in hiding but still be like getting all these letters and stuff like that? And then it's revealed that sure enough, he isn't in contact with them anymore because he's been in hiding. So it's like a perfect kind of reminder for him of like what he's missing by like being on the run. And then he's like, oh, well, but I have to take care of myself. And like, it's all fine and good for like Dumbledore to be saying what he's saying. But like, us degular folk have to, take care of ourselves and do what's in our own best interest and hide.
And we have to keep our heads down and just not go against the grain.
Not cause any trouble. And so then he's like, if you are with Dumbledore, you're basically like announcing you're a part of the Order of the Phoenix. And then Harry basically rebuttals this by saying, well, there's plenty of people at Hogwarts that aren't in the Order of the Phoenix. And also they're a bit safer because they're at Hogwarts. around Dumbledore, who is the only wizard that Voldemort ever feared. So technically they have like less to worry about. So he's basically making an argument for why being at Hogwarts is a little bit safer.
Yeah.
And Slughorn like kind of starts considering this and is like, oh yeah, I guess I would be a little bit safer if I was closer to Dumbledore. That's a good point.
It's almost funny that to me, it's funny that Harry, he had to even like point that out, because like the whole thing about this book series is like the reason they kept book one, the reason they keep the Sorcerer's Stone at Hogwarts is because it's the most safe place outside of Gringotts.
Yeah.
So it's weird to be like, oh, I guess Hogwarts could be safe. It's
I know.
Well, yeah, but bitch, we knew.
Yeah.
Even though it's not aware? To be clear, even though it's not a safe place to be.
No.
Very clearly,
not in many other ways.
Right.
So he's kind of considering it, and right at this moment, perfect timing, Dumbledore has come back from the loo, and he takes like a Muggle magazine with him.
Yeah.
And then as he's leaving, he also makes a comment about like, he's like, oh, you're welcome to come and visit, our security at the castle notwithstanding, or something like that. Like he makes a comment about the security right before he leaves too.
Yes.
And I was like, of course he does. Like I was like, the timing.
I mean, he fully A, didn't go to the bathroom, and B, was just listening from the other room.
Yeah.
I do think he was fully looking through those knitting catalogs, though.
I bet he was in the I bet he just went into the bathroom and just took like a little sat on the closed toilet seat and was like, while he was like reading Reader's Digest. Talking. Yeah. So then as they're leaving the house, Horace ends up rushing after them and is like, all right, fine, I'll do it. I'll come out of retirement and come back to Hogwarts. And Dumbledore's like, oh, you will. The performance of the century.
That's what I'm saying. Both of them. These two queens have come together to maximize their joint slay.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Very like old gay man too, to be like, oh, like look at my connections, look at all my faves, like, oh, so talented, so sparkly. Yes. Yeah.
But also very gay man to be like, the minute someone's about to leave, be like, oh, okay, I'll do it. Like it's so Nathan Lane in the birdcage.
Yes, it's Nathan Lane in Birdcage, yes. That's what I kept picturing him when he's like, like 5. Oh my gosh. So yeah, and then lastly, he says that he would like a pay rise as Dumbledore's walking away.
Yeah.
So Dumbledore says, "Well done" to Harry, who responds by saying, "I didn't do anything." And Dumbledore's like, "Oh yeah, you did. You reminded him of what he can win by like coming back to Hogwarts, and what he basically has to lose if he doesn't. Like he doesn't get to collect you." And he was like, "What did you think of him?" And Harry's like, and I actually really like this bit. I hate giving her compliments, but I like this bit because it's such a good example though of how it's like, yeah, he's not an inherently like bad person, but he's not good either, because he's not really likable. And I think Dumbledore says it perfectly by saying he's never wanted to be the one at the top, but he wants to surround himself with all the people that are at the top.
Yeah.
So he can have a very comfortable life and like be connected in, but not have to do the work of like getting there and like having achieved.
He wants the influence and like the privilege of like being in that class.
Yeah.
But without any of the like responsibility of being in that class. Yeah.
Have you met people like this? I have met someone specifically from LA is coming to mind for me who like, I don't even know. Well,
Michael? Is it Michael?
Yeah, my husband. Where was I? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. So Dumbledore is basically like, oh, yeah, he picks his favorites at the school. He makes like a little club. So I'm sure he's going to try and collect you because you'd essentially be like his prize collectible.
Oh, yeah.
So it's clear there's kind of a, Pokemon. Yeah, Pokemon. So Dee's like, Dumbledore is like, are you singing the song?
Yeah.
Oh, you're my best friend. Michael's friend, Brendan, was in a show with that guy that sings the original Pokemon theme song. And we went to go see it, like a musical, and we went to go see it. And he sang like a rock ballad in the musical, and it was incredible.
Whoa.
I should see if we can find the video. I can't remember what the name of the musical was. It was really funny. Yeah, but I'll never forget that because I was like, it's the Pokemon theme song guy.
Oh my God.
He sounds exactly the same. He sounds just like that still. Like his voice is not aged today. So it sounds like Dumbledore wants Harry to kind of like let himself be collected by Slughorn for some reason that we don't know yet. And then after that, they apparate to the burrow. Dumbledore asks Harry if he can have a little chat with him in a broken down stone outhouse outside the
right, which is where they store
house.
Brooms.
Yeah. Another broom. Harry's always going into these broom cupboards.
Always.
So there's actually this really nice moment that I think Harry's a little uncomfortable with, but I loved it, being a person that feels everything very deeply. Dumbledore's like, I just want to say how proud I am of you, Harry, with how you've been coping with everything that's going on. And I also wanted to say that I think Sirius would be very proud of you. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny because Adam, you were a person that does not like these moments. Like I was literally picturing Adam in this conversation, and you literally would be like, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Where for me, I would be like, thank you so much. I really needed to hear that. So, and then he also says, he's like, it's very cruel that you and Sirius had such a short time together, which again, I was like,
yeah, that's very sad.
We love an emotionally intelligent man.
Yeah.
Dumbledore, thank you. Like, and I think this is a little glimpse of how I think Dumbledore does kind of try to step in as a guardian in a way, and the best he can. I know there's this whole gray area of Dumbledore knows Harry's essentially like going to have to give up his life, blah, 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 whatever. I know that's not the most ethical thing, but I think Dumbledore is kind of trying to step in more in this book and have a more, as much as he can, more of a relationship with Harry.
Yeah.
Even with everything that is still kind of like, yeah.
Well, baby, Miss Dumbledore's on borrowed time, honey.
Yeah. With his hands.
With these hands, with this unbreakable vow, you know.
Yeah. Whatever that has to do with what's going on. So Harry's like, the way Harry responds to this is like, it's just hard to realize like he won't write to me again. And then he's like, but also, well, first off, he says it's hard to realize he won't write to me again. Dumbledore responds to this by saying, Sirius represented many things that you didn't have before. So naturally, this is like a devastating loss. Mm-hmm. And then Harry's like, yeah, but I can't like crack up. I have to like keep going. And like, you know, it could be me tomorrow, or, you know, think about like how Emmeline Vance and Madame Bones just went, like, you know, I just have to like keep going because that's what Sirius would want, which is like has kind of a vibe of like British, like stiff upper lip type of feel.
Yep.
But I also think like Harry isn't really a person that processes his emotions, obviously, as we've learned. So I think for him to kind of feel like he's taking action and doing something, I do feel like that would like offer him some sense of relief. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like in the last book where he just was told to like go home and sit still and be a good boy. Like, he's getting to go with Dumbledore. Now he's at the Weasleys. So he's going to be more like in the loop of what's going on.
Right.
They discuss the prophet and how it's like calling him the chosen one now. So Harry's like, well, now everyone knows. And Dumbledore's like, no, they don't know for sure because like you and I are the only people that have confirmation of that. But you're right that they probably have kind of guessed like that's the case. And then he encourages Harry to essentially what is it called? Not invest. What is it called? Oh, confide. Like confide in Ron and
Harry,
Hermione.
Or
he's
Ron
like,
and Hermione.
Yeah. He's like,
Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger, his two friends.
Yeah, Ronald Weasley and Hermione Granger. He's like, confide in them. To which Harry's kind of like, oh, I didn't know if I should. He's like, no. It would be better for you to like talk to them about it. Like, definitely utilize that you have these really lovely friends in your life. And then he asks Harry to take private lessons with him this year. And I love that he's like, a bit of this, a bit of that.
Yes. What am I going to learn?
A little some here, a little some there.
We'll do some cooking.
But my favorite part of this is that Harry's like, so this means I won't be having to take lessons with Snape? And Dumbledore's like, yeah. I think we've given up on that. And Harry's like, oh, great. Because that was like, no offense, but that was, and Dumbledore's like, a disaster. Yes.
Yeah.
You are correct. He's like, so then that's kind of where it wraps up. They end up heading in towards the Burrow, which ends with Dumbledore saying, let's not deprive Molly the chance of going on and on about how thin you are. Which I was like, all right, fine. It's like her little just a little one-liner kind of button thing that she likes to do.
She likes to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's it. That's the chapter.
Woo! We're at the Burrow.
We're back in the Wizarding world. No more Privet Drive
officially.
until next book. We only get one last bit at Privet Drive.
Oh, yeah.
Next book. It's just that.
Yeah. Tiny little bit.
Teeny tiny. Minuscule.
Minuscule, really. Well, whoever you want it to be. That's who I was being. All right. Well, that was great, Ari. Thank you. Next week, we will be reading chapter 5, which is called An Excess of Phlegm. Gross.
Wonder what that could be about.
We do not have a review. Feel free to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, but we do have YouTube comments.
Oh, okay.
So let me read a couple of those. Okay, we've got from the first episode from chapter 1. This is a lovely comment. I've been so excited for HP Anxious to return since Adam mentioned it in Did You Read the Group Chat? I love this pod so much.
Oh, I didn't even know you mentioned it in there.
I did. And thinking you'd finished uploading honestly felt like a breakup. I've been listening to past episodes when I go to sleep, but I catch myself giggling, especially with the Trelawney, hey, girl boss bit from the third book.
Our best bit.
I peaked. Best
bit. Yeah,
we peaked.
I think that will live on as the best bit. I did love the Fox sleigh bit, but girl boss is still the best bit.
You guys are my absolute faves, and your uploads make me so happy. I started watching after Boys Love Boys Planet finished, and the absolute gem, Anxious Millennials, has been to me. No other Harry Potter podcasts even come close. Love you guys.
Oh, that is so
nice. That's from MedMed001. Tasha, who I know well, Tasha. I'm so excited that you guys are back. Can't wait for the laughs and fun conversations. The portrait conversation made me laugh so hard. Thank you, Tasha.
The what conversation?
The portrait from chapter 1.
Oh, yeah.
At Ochgrave said, I miss you guys so much. And Tabamatha29 says, so glad you guys are back.
Aww.
Then in episode 2, we've got... Oh, you have no idea how we would tune into Ari and Adam reading fan fiction. This is actually a need.
Adam, we have another request.
Absolutely, it would be so fun.
Oh my gosh. Well,
so
we need to bring the fanfic after this is done, apparently.
I mean,
the Harry Potter fanfic and the K-pop fanfic.
Listen,
what do we call it? Fanfic.
We'll have to
brainstorm. We can't come up with that on the spot. It's too hard. Michael's good at coming up with names.
It's too important, too. It's too important to just toss out a name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'd be willing to. Isn't there that really crazy long Harry Potter fanfic that's like basically longer than the actual book series? Like that's how long it is, but it's supposed to be like really well done. I would be down.
Yeah, maybe. I haven't heard of that one. I know like the Draco Hermione one is one people
There's
go
Draco
like nuts
Hermione.
for, but I've never
There's
read it.
one that like it's definitely just a Marauders one, I think, that somebody's
Oh yeah,
written.
I would love a Marauders
So
story.
listen.
Was that the last comment?
Yes, that was the last comment.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to say we are always coming back, guys. We're never not. We're finishing the series. So even
We're
if it takes
finishing the
us-
series.
Yeah.
No,
We're doing all the books.
but also in their defense, I fucked up when we had done the end of book 5, when we had done the 2 movie episodes. I had not uploaded the Spotify version of the second part of the film for months. And finally somebody commented, I think on YouTube somewhere, they were like, "Are you ever gonna upload part 2 of Harry Potter?" And I was like, "It's on YouTube." And then I was like, "Oh, I also need to put it on Spotify." So like there is a crazy gap between the two.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, let us know if something seems to be taking too long episode wise like that. But if we've finished, like when we finish this book, even if we're gone for a while, we're always going to come back to do 7. But
we are finishing this series by December 31st, 2025.
Oh, really?
This series will be done. Yes.
That was when it would finish.
100%. No, I am saying this.
Oh, you're saying we have
this
to.
This is the deadline thing we were talking about before we started this podcast today.
Oh, really? Was that the deadline?
No. That's what I'm saying. I need a deadline. It has to be done. It has to be done.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But I really appreciate everyone saying like how much they missed us, because I feel like obviously we have like a relatively small following for this. So it's so nice to hear you guys like look forward to the episodes that much. Like I really had no idea. I love that. So that makes me really happy. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for the kind words. We love hearing what you guys think. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find your podcasts, as well as video versions on the Ampliverse YouTube channel and on Spotify. As always, don't forget to rate, review, subscribe so that we can get a perfect Newt score, 5 stars only, or else you will be covered in dragon's blood at your prom when you win prom queen.
A Carrie situation.
Yeah. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HBAnxious, or YouTube and TikTok at The Ampliverse. We are hosted on Spotify for podcasters, so thank you to them. And we are a proud member of The Ampliverse. Please check them out at theampliverse.com. Thank you, Ariana.
Thank you, Adam.
And also, guys, just so everybody knows, Ariana, the one across from me right now, or I guess next to me on the video, it's ARRIANNA.
Oh, did someone spell my
N's.
name wrong again?
It is not Miss
2
Grande.
R's. It is not spelled the same way as Miss Grande. No, 2 R's and 2 N's. You can blame my parents for that.
Yes. It's just some unique creativity we had there.
Double
some
R, double N.
Double R, double N.
I don't know why.
So thank you, Ariana.
Thank you, Adamana.
And as all, Ari.
Adam.
And as always,